PCA. Oh, yeah. What a remarkable turnaround MVP caliber season. We may have never seen ever a guy that is vying for the MVP go from the doldrums of their career to what is now become an incredible 2026 performance. I want to dive into the numbers of Pete-Crow-Armstrong for a second. Sure. If you just give me the first month and a half of
50
PCA.
Games. Give me 50 games.
Look at this. Through May 20th, he hit 225, 5 home runs, 20 RBIs, on-base percentage, a tick over 300. He was offensively one of the worst players on his own team. His struggles were so intense, it actually creeped into his defense. I want to take you to May 19th. This is a fly ball to center that he dropped. Then I want to take you to the very next game, which is May 20th. Now, this is a platinum glove caliber center fielder. The ball goes under his glove against the Brewers. It got so bad that the media was asking Craig Counsell questions like this.
No.
He was not going to sit him. The very next 2 days later, he batted him 8th. Pete-Crow-Armstrong hit this home run. Got everyone going. They were in the middle of a 10-game losing streak, so they still lost this game. But Craig Counsell saw enough to change things up and take the guy with the lowest on-base percentage on his team and bat him leadoff. This is against everything in the analytical Bible. Brian Kenny, look away. Lowest on-base percentage on the Cubs, batted leadoff on May 23rd. Since May 23rd, when the lowest on-base percentage for the Cubs batted leadoff, he's been the best player in baseball. In 77 games, he's hitting .310 with 25 home runs, 57 RBIs, 19 of his 31 stolen bases. Oh, by the way, his defense has been remarkably great. And he has become a legitimate, and in some eyes, the front runner for NL MVP, Harold. Front runner for NL MVP.
Tell you what, he's had a remarkable turnaround. I go back and look at Pete Crow on Team USA with the WBC. Big home runs, big hits. That's why the first half was so shocking, that he struggled the way he did the first 50 games. Because you thought he was going to be a guy that was just going to take over the league. And just the way he plays, the style he plays with, he didn't have that. And it got suppressed. I give Craig Counsell a ton of credit to make the move he did and say, go get him. The talent was there, and it was time. You were screaming he should be leading off for 2 years. We've been saying this.
Yes.
We're seeing what Pete Crow's capable of.
But that said, you still believe that...
I still believe Ohtani's the leader.
And you don't think it's close?
Until Pete pitches. He's closed the gap. I get it. It's a great conversation. I think he's playing a phenomenal year. He's doing what Pete Crow has been capable of doing and then some. But I think we are so overhung with how great Ohtani is. It's like Michael Jordan. All of a sudden we had to give Karl Malone an MVP and still Jordan should have won. Look, this is the fact of what I think is happening with Ohtani. We've ignored that all I heard the first part of the year was from everybody, including you too. He's pitching for the Cy Young. He's dedicated all his momentums and thoughts to winning a Cy Young, which we saw him do, to an 8-2 record and a 1.79 ERA. And you can throw Bob Gibson and Seaver and everybody else. Nobody's doing what Ohtani does.
Yeah.
I can't ignore that. I just can't ignore that. He's still got 30 home runs. He's still one of the leaders in the sport with the highest averages and everything else. I can't ignore the fact that
And if he never throws another inning, his 85 innings is good enough for him to be the MVP.
I just can't ignore what he did.
I mean, it's hard to ignore that, Greg. And as much as I've thought about this the last couple of days, I think the transformation not only of the Cubs but of Pete-Crow-Armstrong turning the season around, but it's hard to ignore what Ohtani did on the mound. And if you look at his numbers offensively, Pete-Crow-Armstrong hit 2 home runs, started the game, ended the game Monday night with 2 home runs. And what does Ohtani do the same night? He hit 2 home runs in Denver.
Look, it makes a lot of sense. Pete-Crow-Armstrong struggled mightily in his MVP caliber season. He did. I showed it to you. The first 50 games, he wasn't a very good baseball player. He wasn't batting in the spot he should have been batting. Meanwhile, during that same time, Shohei Ohtani was, like Harold said, outstanding on the mound. We have some numbers to show you of Ohtani through May 22nd, was hitting .273, which was low for him. 8 home runs, only 6 stolen bases. His offensive numbers were still much better than Pete-Crow-Armstrong. 882 OPS. You can't roll your eyes at an 882 OPS. His pitching numbers were staggering. Sub-2 ERA made him a Cy Young contender while he was pitching through May 22nd. 0.73 ERA.
I'm going to stop you right there. Go back to that board one sec. Too late. Would he not have been MVP slam dunk on this and the pitching? In 50 games, is Ohtani the walk away? I mean, walk away.
Yes.
MVP.
100%.
Walk away.
Right. We all agree.
Nobody even close.
All right, now let's move on to the next graphic. Since May 23rd, Ohtani at the bottom of your screen has a 3.19 ERA in 6 starts. Since May 23rd to this date in August.
4-0.
4-0. I totally understand.
3.19.
But those are 6 games. So I think what we have to ask ourselves is, and while Pete-Crow-Armstrong is the better offensive player, 18 more stolen bases, did Pete-Crow-Armstrong playing platinum glove center field? It's not close. He's the best defensive outfielder in the game. He's got 31 stolen bases. Ohtani has 7 total on the year. Pete-Crow-Armstrong, right now, according to many different betting sites, Vegas odds, is considered the favorite over Shohei Ohtani. And I guess what we have to ask ourselves is this. On a scale of 1 to 10 in MVP language and MVP metrics, what number do you give 85 innings of a sub-2 ERA? Okay? Whatever that number is, think about it. What do you give a metric to platinum glove center field over 150-plus games and possibly over 40 stolen bases?
Yeah.
What number would you give that?
I think it's a phenomenal year. I get it. Well, I 100%. Pete deserves an MVP with the numbers he's won. The problem is there's a lot of guys that deserve MVPs that don't get it because the other guy was just so ridiculous. And I think Ohtani's so ridiculous that you have to do something beyond comprehension. Maybe it's a 40-40 season.
We've never seen a center fielder with a 40-40 season.
Maybe he's got to do that.
With a platinum glove.
We never saw a catcher with a 60-homer season.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't knock off Aaron Judge. And I'm saying here, you're going to have to do something extraordinary. He's going to have to keep it going. But the minute Ohtani does this, and he's back, because he's coming back, all of a sudden this whole conversation changes.
I agree with him.
Instantly.
If he comes back and he is a factor at all on the mound,
as soon as he gets the ball and does this,
on the mound,
everybody goes, whoa, that's right, he pitches.
Then it sways into Ohtani's
So
favor.
if he gets to 100 innings, he's the MVP.
Yes.
Slam dunk.
Yes.
15 more innings.
What can you do? Yeah, it's not fair, but that's what
we talked about him the first 2 months of the season. He was in the top 5 starting pitchers in a game. It wasn't like he was just starting. He was elite, and you can't take that away from him. You just can't, you can't take it away.
I know you can't.
I don't know how you compare that to platinum glove defense and stolen bases.
You just can't. I mean,
Well, you can compare. I mean, it is a conversation that you can have. It is one of the most important defensive positions on your team.
I get it.
And ever since Pete-Crow-Armstrong got hot, if you look at the record of the Chicago Cubs, they were 7 games over 500 when he wasn't hot.
Yeah.
He turned them into the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
Since May 23rd, the Cubs are playing pretty much at the same level as the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Valid point.
Great.
But it's hard for me to not include what Ohtani did for 2.5 months on the mound. He was one of the most dominating starting pitchers in the sport.
I think both can be true. Pete-Crow-Armstrong can be the favorite for the NL MVP while we still acknowledge it's not like it's a slam dunk. We're not ignoring Shohei Ohtani. No one's ignoring Ohtani at all.
I think they're ignoring Ohtani.
No way.
Yeah, I do.
I think we're recognizing
when we start talking about
season.
the Vegas odds and everything else, are saying that Pete Crow's in front of Ohtani. I think they're ignoring. You're not, because we haven't seen him in a couple months of the greatness of him on the mound. This isn't just I'm going to throw and pitch a game. This is total dominance. If he wasn't total dominance, I wouldn't be having this conversation like I am. But the fact that we compare him to Seaver, Pedro, Bob Gibson, the greatest names that ever got on the mound, was what we're comparing him to for this season.
The beauty of this is there's like over 30 games left, and I think it's going to be decided in the next 30 to 35 games.
It's going to be a great race.
That's when it's going to be decided.
We should bring back the great race.
Got to bring it back.
September 1st.
Got to bring it back.
Great race of PCA versus Ohtani.